here. You're here in college to explore and to learn and to grow. Guys, we're starting off today just with a reminder. Here's the good news. For the month of November, here to the 18th, the only thing you really have to worry about in this class is finishing your stock game. Now, the stock game, in terms of the stocks we're measuring, ended yesterday, right on Halloween. So you will have played the markets for the month of October. I gave you all sample papers to base your paper off of. I'm asking you to remember the following things. Please, please, please do not plagiarize. I have had to give people zeros on this project, and it's a substantial part of your grade for plagiarizing. Are you allowed to use a quotation from somebody else's work? Yes. And if you use a quotation, what do you need to do? You need to put quotes around it, and you need to cite it. If you are using direct verbiage from somebody else, even if you cite it, if you have not changed the verbiage into your own words, that is plagiarism. If you have a question about whether something is plagiarism or not, come see me. And here's the other trick too, guys. A couple of days before that due date rolls around, if you have a draft of your paper and you want me to take a look at it, I will. And I'll give you feedback. I'll tell you what to fix. I won't check all your math for you, but I'll tell you if I see something that's up. In your groups, if somebody had trouble with the rate of return assignment, for example, maybe you don't want to put them on calculating the rate of return, or you want to check their work. I'm also asking you guys, when you cite your works, make sure there's an in-text citation for every time you cite your work. And I'm also asking you to avoid pronouns. Here's what I'm talking about. When I say, that was crazy, or this is really important, that's okay conversationally. If you're using the word this, it, they, tell us what this is. Tell us what it is. Try to avoid vague pronouns. They make the sentences harder to really get into and to explore. If you have questions, I'll gladly answer them now or anytime until this assignment is due. But anyway, hit me up if you're getting ahead. That's great. This is what the rest of our semester looks like, guys. Today we're going to be starting Chapter 5. Then we have Chapter 6, and we have our second test. Now, our second test is Chapters 4, 5, 6, and 19. So it's 60 questions instead of 50. We're still going to review for it. You'll still get the same kind of review sheets that we got before. It's not going to be any different. Here's the wonderful part about the way we set this class up, guys. Our final is only going to be probably on 3 chapters. I may even cover some of the material I need to cover in an online format, meaning I'll give you guys a YouTube video to watch and a 10-question quiz. You can have an open book, open notes quiz that'll count as a full test grade. So here's the deal. If you didn't do well on the first test, here's a way you can easily bump up your test score. This is what the rest of our semester looks like. Trust me, we're going to review. And the good news for all of you is we don't have a cumulative final. So it's nothing to fear any more than a normal test. All good there, guys? Is that good news? Good. All right, guys, we also are going to have guest speaker coming in on Monday. Callie Perino lives in New York City right now. She's getting ready to move to Denver. She's one of our most successful alums. Got to meet her for the first time in New York City about 2 years ago. Really cool young lady. She's been out for about 10 years, and she works for a group called Upfield, which does staffing and all kinds of business development. She's going to be here in class with us on Monday. I expect you to interact with her, give her your attention, ask her good questions, because she's a young alum, and I think she was soccer, but I don't know that for sure. But she was an athlete while she was here. She's going to be a great person to ask questions of. So give her your time and attention this coming Monday. Well, check it out, guys. Streaming wars are happening. This is our latest in the news. As of today, Apple Plus is live. In about 2 weeks, we get Disney Plus. Then in May, we're going to get HBO coming online, and everybody's starting their own streaming service. By the way, has anybody already signed up for Disney Plus? Yeah, me too. I'm getting it through my cell phone provider for free for you, so who can pass that up? Guys, here's my question. With all these streaming wars and all these companies that are getting involved here, who do you think is going to come out on top and why? Yes?
I think Disney.
I do too, but why do you think they're going to do so well?
Because they bought so many things. Like they bought the rights to Fox, bought the rights to Star Wars, everything. So that's all the good movies and plus all the Disney movies and stuff. And it's not just going to show Disney princess movies. It's going to show raunchier movies, rated R movies too.
More adult stuff, yes. It's going to be a streaming service for everybody. By the way, Disney owns a very large sports-oriented company. Who do they own? They do. This is rapidly becoming one of the biggest media companies on the planet. Does anybody believe that any of these other services are going to do as well as Disney? What do you think about Apple Plus? How are they going to make out? Does Apple Plus have a leg to stand on? What are your thoughts? Yes?
I don't think Apple Plus will really be as profitable as like Disney Plus because they're coming out around the same time as Disney Plus. And like I personally haven't heard like a thing about Apple.
The only thing I've heard about them is Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston have a show. It's about a morning television show. They're the first new content that'll be coming out. I don't know, do Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston have any kind of traction with your generation? Do they? You're nodding your head, yes. I think of it more as people my generation. How many of you watch Friends on a regular basis? So that might be some appeal too. How many of you like the Legally Blonde movies? Or had seen any Reese Witherspoon stuff? It's going to be interesting to see. Who's going to be the big loser in all of this stuff? Yes? Oh, I disagree, and I'll tell you why. It's a good thought. Who else is going to be a loser here? Yes? I do too. Because what's Netflix and Hulu's biggest challenge?
That they are going to lose members because they're going to Disney Plus and all the good movies and stuff.
And they don't have content. Do you guys know how much Netflix spent on content last year? Anybody have a guess? $12 billion. That's what they spent just on content. Has Netflix been profitable? They're not. They're still losing money, and they got to generate content. And you got somebody like Disney who literally has 100 years worth of content to pull upon. That's tough competition, guys. I'm going to explain the cable company thing because I think that's a good thought. That at first we think the cable companies, man, we're losing out on this thing. Ultimately, where's all this content coming into homes through? Cable internet. So if you're the cable provider, let's say you're Comcast. Here's the way it used to work, guys. You were Comcast. You provided the physical infrastructure that came into these homes, but on this end, what we refer to as the head end, you were also paying for licensing for ESPN and for HBO and for the Disney Channel and all these other things. You were negotiating contracts with all these big companies to say, we want to license your content and we want to distribute it. Well, check it out. At this point, if you're the cable company, if you're Comcast, you can say, well, you know what? Maybe I don't need to pay these big licensing fees. All I got to do is maintain this pipeline, and people can buy their own content other places. They still have to use my pipeline to get into their house. So the cable companies essentially are making money without having to spend it. So it's a big advantage for the cable companies. So I think it's going to be interesting. We're going to start off class today with a little video to show you the Wall Street Journal's perspective on who's going to come out on top and what the big issues are. Your time. It's when you want to observe the content. It's not on the broadcast network's perspective. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out. Who here is planning on buying a subscription or having their family buy a subscription to Disney Plus, by the way? Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. I want the Marvel stuff. I want the Disney stuff. I think it's going to be huge. Well, guys, today we're going to be starting a conversation on how to start a business. By show of hands here, who here ever hopes to own their own business? If I may take some queries here, what kind of business do you hope you own?
Well, I either want to do like a men's fashion brand, or my dad has his own company that I think of.
Both good fields to be in. Like men's fashion is hot right now. That's a really good idea. I saw some hands back here. What kind of businesses do you got?
Definitely something with sales.
Sales? Tell me more.
I mean, both mom and dad are doing sales businesses.
Excellent. What kind of business?
I was just looking for the translation, but it just says business. But, I had to go to the government.
Oh, government business. So selling to the government or contracting?
I had to, how do you say that? Let me check.
It's okay.
I had to sign in that business was like a small company on me, and wherever I wanted to work, I could get paid by that business.
So like online consulting kind of stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I find the translation, I'll read it.
Please do. That's what we're all about today. Who had their hands up over here who wants to own their own business? What kind of business?
Sawmill and probably
Interesting place to be right now. We need shipping, and we're running out of ability to move product. Hopefully, automation doesn't destroy the people in all those jobs. But there's lots of opportunities, guys. What we're going to be talking about in this class is how you can own a business. There are lots of ways to do it. If you want to fly solo, or if you want to go in with a partnership, or you want to actually start a big company, there's lots of ways to do this stuff. We're also going to talk about the differences between small companies and corporations and how we can grow and expand these as well. We're going to also talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each. There's lots of different reasons why people take all these paths to business ownership. Guys, in terms of the way business is changing, though, to give you some context, recent statistics, these are stores that are either closing parts of their store or going completely out of business in 2019. Payless shoe stores, they're shutting down all their stores. They're going completely out of business. So is Gymboree, so is Charlotte Russe. A lot of other companies are downsizing. We have Family Dollar. By the way, we see Dollar Generals everywhere popping up. It's like it's a requirement now that a town by municipal ordinance has to have a Dollar General. Why is Family Dollar languishing while Dollar General is doing well? Yes?
Well, I know Dollar General's popping up. They've changed their strategy to try to put Dollar Generals in very underserved areas, very rural areas. So they're trying to kind of bleed off some of the business from Walmart and some of the bigger corporations that will branch out to rural areas.
And they're succeeding. That's a great observation. Are there other reasons why Dollar General is kicking Family Dollar's butt? Has anybody ever been in a Family Dollar? It's kind of like a really small version of a Kmart. It's like not clean, it's not nice, and it's almost impossible to find things. But check out some of these other brands that are dying off. The Gap. By the way, the Gap owns one other brand that is much more successful than them that sells mainly cheap blue jeans. Do you know who it is? Yeah, and they're spinning them off to a separate company. They're actually splitting off. Why are the Gap and Old Navy splitting company? Any guesses? Yes?
Because Old Navy's are successful and Gap is really down.
Gap is not doing well. The Gap was the cool store for people who grew up with friends. It was a 90s kind of store, and it's not cool anymore. And look at this. We even have Victoria's Secret is really on the verge of going under completely. So the business is changing, guys. Why are all these stores closing? We know why Dollar General is overtaking Family Dollar, but what's going on here, guys? What is killing a lot of these businesses? Yes? You say online commerce or e-commerce? What else is killing these businesses? What else is killing the ability of these businesses to compete? Is there something beside online commerce, guys? Yes? Yeah, I mean, people like me are no longer going to the mall and going to the Gap, that's for sure. So we got changes in style. What else is changing, guys? When's the last time any of you, actually let me rephrase that. How many of you have voluntarily gone to a shopping mall in the last month? If I had asked that question 10 years ago, you'd have all raised your hands. So that's one of the big problems in the way that e-commerce is changing the way we shop. People don't go to the store. They don't shop the way they used to. The brands we used to rely on are dying out. Guys, in the old days of the 1970s, if you worked for Sears, that was a good job. That paid well. People could have a living. Could you imagine supporting a family on a job working in the mall at this point in time? I couldn't either. Guys, we've got lots of predictions now. They're saying, and this is probably even not an aggressive enough estimation, that we're going to be seeing 25% of all shopping malls going out of business in the next 5 years. What do you think? Is that realistic? Yeah, I think so too. We're seeing ghost malls now, guys. There are abandoned malls. In fact, if you look this up online, there's an entire webpage dedicated to pictures of abandoned shopping malls. It looks like something out of The Walking Dead. So these things are going away in a hurry, guys, or they're being repurposed. Who's taking up all that used mall real estate? Who's going in those facilities now? Yes?
Universities.
Yeah, colleges are going in because it's cheap retail space. We've got health centers. If you go to Altoona, for example, the Station Mall is now mainly a healthcare facility, and these people are taking that stuff over. So, guys, as we are talking about the businesses that are working and are not working, I would like to hear from various parts of the room. Tell me a business you would get involved with and one that you run like hell away from. What's something you think could be successful and something that definitely would not be successful in 2019? What would you do and what wouldn't you do? I would like to hear from somebody in this room. Yes? Yeah, I agree. Especially if you find a niche, something that really is particular and neat. I think online is big. So we got one that we should do, online. What's one that would be a bad idea? What would be a terrible idea? Yes?
Unless you're really experienced a restaurant.
Yeah, tell me more. Why do restaurants fail?
A lot of it's inexperience with the owners, especially in this area. There's just a ton of competition. So unless you're like franchising where everybody already knows the name, it's really hard to gain any traction.
Absolutely. Is it coincidental, by the way, when somebody opens a fast food joint, that 4 other places open fast food joints right next to them? No, it's not. It's the coattail effect. The idea is, if we got Popeyes coming in, well, if I'm Chick-fil-A, why don't I operate right down the street from them, and the people who aren't going to Popeyes are going to go to my restaurant? Or conversely, if it's Sunday and they want a chicken sandwich, maybe they're coming to my restaurant. So what else is a sure thing, guys? I shouldn't say a sure thing. What's a business you would invest in? You're all business majors, so what's something you would invest in? Help me out. Don't make me call on people. What do you think? Yes? Logging. Yeah, we still need wood. We're the largest producer of wood in the country. Trevor, what's a business you put on?
Something electrical or technology. But, yeah, I guess it's probably electrical, contract.
Services and trades are huge right now. We all need stuff. Let me tell you a story, guys. I need 4 shingles replaced on my roof. I have been trying for 4 months to get a contractor to return my phone call, and I'm not getting calls back. Why is it? It's not just because they don't like me. Yes? They're not interested in the small jobs because they have so much work and there's so few people doing it. And what it came down to is finding an old friend who does roofing jobs, and he's fitting me in. It's the same deal. If you get a good plumber or a good mechanic or a good roofing person, keep their cell phone number so you can reach them, because if you go through the service, you won't get them. Well, somebody else tell me one more business. Somebody inside the room, tell me one more business they would not invest in. Yes? Yeah, I think that would be a really bad idea at this point in time. And when we think about the businesses that are doing well, let's talk about the biggest of the big. In Christmas of 2018, the biggest shopping time of the year, out of every $10 that we spent online in the United States, how many went to Amazon? Any guesses? That's a good guess, because it was $4.50. So does anybody here want to take on Amazon? I don't. That's a tough company. They sell everything. You've got to specialize. Being the store that sells everything to everyone, that position's already been taken. Not a good way to go. Guys, we're going to do a little group exercise because we have not moved around this room enough the last couple of weeks. So we're going to break it into groups of 4, and we're going to be talking about how we do business. So we're going to start here. You're number 1. And you're number 3. You're 1. You're 1. 2. And you 3. 4. 1. All right. Well done, guys. The 1s are going to gather here. 2's in the rear left. 3's in the rear right. 4's right up front. You know, it's so weird. It's like gray out there and windy, but it's got me in a good mood. It's like, it feels like the holidays are starting or something. All right, guys, settle in, because what I'm going to be doing is asking your group, come on around. I'm going to be asking your group to answer the following questions. Don't overthink it. I'm going to be giving each group a business. And I want you to tell me, first of all, what are the advantages and disadvantages of your business? I'm going to ask you, are you going to stay a sole proprietor? Are you going to own the business yourself? Or are you going to take on partners? Let me move that so you guys have some room here. I'm going to ask you, how big will your company get? And you can choose to get bigger, or you might need to get bigger. Let me give you an example. If I have a local pizza shop, I might never want to deliver to all of Pennsylvania. But if I own a sporting goods store, I might need volume to be able to make that a go. Are you going to remain privately owned, or are you going to be publicly owned? Are you going to issue stock or not? What are your areas of risk? What are the areas where you're vulnerable, and how you address them? So we're going to start off our first group. You guys are one of my favorite companies. You are Kawasaki Motorcycles. Group 2, you are back here. You are In the Weeds Lawn Care Service, and you are based out of Loretto, Pennsylvania. Group 3, in the rear right, you guys are Smith Meyer Store, Loretto original. And we've got Group 4, you guys are Frankie Francis Sports Management. You guys manage professional athletes. So what I'm asking you to do is to go back and answer these questions. I will be around to check on you.